Meeting to order for Monday, October 6th for the City of St. John Common Council. This evening, Councillor Harris is away. Councillor Radwan's not available tonight. Councillor Killen is also not available. The deputy is online. And that's everyone. So we always open up our meeting with a land acknowledgement. So I'm passing that over to Councillor Sullivan tonight. So Councillor, over to you, please.
Thank you, Your Worship. The land on which the City of St. John, or Mennequist, is situated is the traditional territory of the Wolastoqey. The Wolastoqey, along with their indigenous neighbors, the Mi'kmaq and the Pescatomakati, signed peace and friendship treaties with the British Crown in the 1700s that protected their rights to lands and resources. Let's take a moment to pause and reflect.
Okay, I'll ask everyone to please stand for the national anthem. Okay, I think we have a short night for everyone, but anything can happen. Next item, City Clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. The first item is 2.1 on your agenda, approval of September 22nd minutes.
September 22nd minutes, Councillor Stewart and Councillor Darling on the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next item.
And next, item 2.2, approval of September 23 minutes.
September 23rd minutes. The deputy and Councillor Stewart on the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next item.
And next is the approval of the agenda, and there are a few additions from Committee of the Whole. Those items would be 17.1, Green Municipal Fund, 17.2, Community Wildfire Resiliency Plan, 17.3, Dissolution of CNBA, and 17.4, Compensation Strategy.
Okay, so I'll take a motion to approve the agenda with the additions. Councillor Darling and the deputy on the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next item.
Next is the disclosures of conflict of interest, if we have any.
Conflict of interest. Not seeing any. Next item.
And next is the consent agenda.
Consent agenda. Deputy, do you want to read that for me?
Absolutely, Your Worship.
You're coming in loud and clear.
I would move 5.1 through to 5.12, Your Worship.
Okay, I'll take a seconder on that. Councillor Stewart on the question. Don't see any questions. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next item, City Clerk.
Next is item 6, members' comments.
Members' comments. No members' comments? Okay, well, I'm going to make a quick comment. St. John hosted the Union of Municipalities of New Brunswick this weekend, And they had over about 335 delegates that were registered for the conference. It was the largest conference that they've had in their 31 years. This is the 31st annual conference and AGM. We were selected this year because we only, and tonight's in our kit, we have moved from the 8 cities of New Brunswick, which was the 8 cities of New Brunswick, 8 major cities, and we've moved into the UMNB as the Urban Caucus. So that, to add horsepower to that entity works with AFMNB as well, so they have a great relationship between the two of them, and away we go. So it's worked out very well for us, but I have to say that the delegates were so impressed with St. John. They loved the plaza at Tolimakahamik. They loved the Harbor Passage. They loved the new component of it as you walk along Fundy Quay. They loved being out there on the quay and looking at the bow of those ships. We had 3 ships in the first day that we were here, 2 ships in on the next day that we were here. So they were very impressive. The weather was amazing. Like it was a win for all of us. So it was a great weekend. Lots of wonderful content as well. And the only other thing I've got to mention is I wanted to really send our condolences on behalf of the city to our Christofferson's family. He was a family doctor in town. He was a family doctor here for about 50 years, and he had a lot of patients. And if you read the obituary, it was person after person thanking him and talking about him being a friend. And Art was also he was a person of faith as well. So to have a person of faith and a doctor, it was a nice combination for his patients as well. And he did such great work in the community, and he is going to be dearly, dearly missed. And he had battled cancer for about a year. So to his family, his sister Lynn was a teacher at St. John High. She taught my kids French down at the high school. And to the rest of his family, I send our condolences on behalf of the city. So that's it for me. And next item, City Clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. Next, we have 2 proclamations. Item 7.1 is the first one, Green Sports Day.
Green Sports Day. Whereas Green Sports Day aims to bring sports communities together across Canada for a common cause, promoting environmental awareness and sustainability through sports. This momentous occasion is dedicated to showcasing the sports industry's commitment to protecting our planet. And whereas the mission of Green Sports Day is to harness the power of sports to drive positive environmental change and unite athletes, fans, and communities worldwide to take action against climate change. And whereas the sports sector has historically been recognized as a framework for improving public health, for accelerating the local economy, and for facilitating social changes in St. John, and it also has a significant potential to contribute to the city's climate goals. And whereas Green Sports Day has served as an unofficial celebration within the sports sector for green progress regarding greenhouse emission reduction goals, for waste reduction targets, for increasing equitable opportunities to participate in sports, in clean and safe environments, and encouraging and to continue encouragement of sustainability efforts. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Donna Node Reardon of St. John, officially proclaim October the 6th as Green Sports Day in the city of St. John. That's today. Next item, City Clerk.
And next proclamation, item 7.2, National Dental Care Day.
Okay, and whereas National Dental Care Day is a coast-to-coast movement dedicated to providing free dental care to underserved Canadians each year on the 10th of October. The initiative promotes dignity, health equity, and community compassion through accessible oral health care. And whereas the National Dental Care Day Foundation is a volunteer-led initiative that has delivered for over a decade free dental services across Ontario. Its goal is to establish a unified national movement, National Dental Care Day, in which dentists from all backgrounds commit to 1 day of service annually, restoring dignity through smiles. And whereas October 10, participating dental clinics across Canada will open their doors to provide 1 free dental procedure, a cleaning, a filling, or an extraction to any patient in need with no insurance or income documentation required. Clinics will also host oral health education, community outreach, and volunteer engagement activities to amplify the spirit of the compassion and care. And whereas this initiative will raise public awareness about the importance of oral health, reduce barriers to essential dental care, and inspire civic pride through volunteerism, demonstrating a commitment to advancing compassion, dignity, and healthcare equity for all. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Donna Node Reardon of St. John, do hereby proclaim October the 10th, 2025 as National Dental Care Day in the City of St. John. That's a wonderful initiative because an unhealthy mouth, gums, teeth can impact your entire system, including your immune system as well. So it's important. Dental health is often an indicator of your health. So it's so important. So it's a great initiative. Nice to see. Next item, City Clerk.
Thank you, Your Worship. It's not quite 6:30 yet, so we'll have to skip over item 9.1. And the next item after that is 10.1. That's Sydney Street, Broad Street to St. James, traffic bylaw amendment.
Okay, I'm passing this one over to the Commissioner. Commissioner Hugenholtz, over to you, please.
Good evening, Your Worship, members of Council. Before you this evening are some changes to the traffic bylaw amendment to facilitate some changes around the Sydney Street area. Those changes are mainly intended to facilitate the changes around the area with the school construction and with the introduction of a bike lane. So specifically, it changes the direction of that street from two-way to one-way to permit that bike lane and the angled parking. Upon your support of this, we'll continue to do the design, and once the project has been constructed, we'll return back to you for third reading. Subject to any questions, I'll turn it back over to the chair.
Okay, I'm not seeing any questions, but for anyone who's familiar with the south end from Queen Square South, if you drive along there, you will run into Sydney Street. It's one way from there north, it's two ways from there south. So this will make it all one way going north, and it will align with Charlotte, which we just did not that long ago. And Charlotte Street is a lateral street parallel to it on the other side of Queen Square, and it runs from north to south one way. Sydney will run from south to north one way. So it makes it's perfect. All right, so City Clerk, over to you for the two recommendations or two resolutions.
Yes, in this case, Your Worship, first and second reading by title is required, so two separate motions.
Okay, I'll take a motion to approve first reading by title. Councillor Stewart and Councillor Lowe on the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
The title of this is a bylaw to amend a bylaw respecting the traffic on streets in the City of St. John, bylaw number MV 10.1 and amendments thereto.
Okay, I'll take a motion to approve second reading by title. Councillor Lowe and Councillor Stewart on the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
A bylaw to amend a bylaw respecting the traffic on streets in the City of St. John, bylaw number MV 10.1 and amendments thereto.
Okay, next item, City Clerk.
Next, we have item 12.1, an update from the CAO on select catalytic projects.
CAO, over to you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Good evening. I have an update that will provide the status on three of Council's catalytic priorities, starting first with the public schools. Great progress continues to be made there. At the North End School, you'll see structural steel continue to go up. At the South End School, site work is continuing and foundation work has started with concrete pours. On the prior item that was just approved, the traffic bylaw, it's going to convert, as the mayor said, to allow for active transportation in northerly direction. In addition, it's going to allow for angled parking on those two blocks. So that is supporting the school and additional parking in that area. Regarding capital projects that we have ongoing to support the schools, St. James Street, the contractor has completed all the underground work, and the city is coordinating with the school on the required reinstatement. So we're working collaboratively to ensure that goes smoothly. And switching to affordable housing for the Rapid Housing Initiative in the Barrett Green residents. That's a joint initiative between Kaleidoscope, Social Impact, the city, and CMHC. Good progress continues to be made on that building, and it's scheduled to open in 2026. Switching to affordable housing as it relates to grants. So our affordable housing grant will be launched in November or December of this year. Permits for a total of 164 affordable units have been issued since 2024, with more being tracked and already significantly exceeding our Housing Accelerator Fund number. Our soft cost grant program, as I mentioned, remains open and provides up to $25,000. As far as the Housing Accelerator Fund program, I'll just provide some more detailed update on that this evening. The dashboard is online as a reminder and updated to the end of September, but overall we've made very good progress on the 2026 housing supply target. So we have already exceeded the missing middle target. We're over 120% of that target for the end of the program. The affordable housing target, we're at 162% for the end of the program. So significant exceedance there. And in total, we have reached 820 new units. That's total units overall, representing about 71% of our overall goal. And we're just over midway of the program. So overall, we're tracking slightly ahead of our target. In terms of the multi-unit buildings, though, we're at 62%. So we're at target, but we're not exceeding like the others. So we need to keep the momentum going on the multi-unit build side in order to meet our target. And by way of Housing Accelerator Fund, other updates relating to it are e-permitting RFP. We're continuing to review that. And lastly, the North End Secondary Plan, the new phase of in-person community engagement, which will share outcomes of the visioning exercises that have been ongoing and present draft concepts, is scheduled for October 27th and October 29th. And notification will go out to the community this week on that. And draft plan is expected by the end of the year. And that concludes the update, Your Worship.
Sounds good. Sounds good. I think we've got a question here. Councillor Ogden, over to you for a question.
Yeah, Brent, I think we should keep in mind that Lorne, St. Vincent's and St. Patrick's, all former schools, are still empty. And we're going to have 4 more empty schools in a year and a half. That's 7 empty schools in the core of St. John. And so I think we've got to encourage more activity, whether it be government, university, whatever, in the core of our city, because we're sitting there with 7 empty buildings that are well built. And I hate to see them torn down like what happened to the General Hospital, because it takes the character away from our city. So I would hope that we would come up with a plan for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. I think this was just on our own catalytic projects that we've described that he's just given us the update, but that's a good one. Next item, City Clerk. Oh, wait a minute. I have to take a motion to receive for information. Councillor Lowe and Councillor Norton on the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next item, City Clerk.
Next, we have the items from Committee of the Whole. So the first one is 17.1. Committee of the Whole with respect to Green Municipal Fund. The resolution would be that the city enter into an agreement for the tree planting project with the Federation of Canadian Municipalities as attached to M&C 235 for the purpose of the city receiving funding, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to sign said agreement and any other documents ancillary thereto.
Councillor Darling and Councillor Sullivan. It's a good one on the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next item, City Clerk.
Next, 17.2, Community Wildfire Resiliency Plan resolution is that the city enter into a funding agreement with the Department of Natural Resources, generally in the form as presented to Committee of the Whole at its meeting held on October 6, 2025, to support the fire department's application under the Resilient Communities through FireSmart, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the said agreement and any other documents ancillary thereto.
It's another good one. The Deputy and Councillor Darling on the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. 100% covered on that one. That's a great one. Next item, City Clerk.
17.3, Committee of the Whole recommendation with respect to dissolution of CNBA. And it's that the city approves the members' resolution in the form as presented to Committee of the Whole at its meeting held on October 6, 2025, for the purpose of A, conveying, transferring, and assigning all the cities of New Brunswick Association, Inc.'s remaining assets to the Union of Municipalities of New Brunswick, Inc., Union des Municipalités de Nouveau-Brunswick, and B, adopting bylaw number 2025-1 for the Cities of New Brunswick Association, Inc.'s, the purpose of which is to surrender the company charter and issue a certificate of dissolution, and that the mayor and clerk be authorized to execute the said members' resolution and any other documents ancillary thereto.
I'll move in a second on that. Councillor Stewart, Councillor Darling. I mentioned this earlier in the evening. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Next item.
And the final item is 17.4, compensation strategy. The resolution would be that Common Council endorse the compensation strategy as presented to Committee of the Whole on October 6, 2025 for the city's management and professional employee group, and refer the execution of the strategy to be incorporated into the 2026 operating budget in compliance with the budget envelope as part of the wage escalation policy.
The Deputy and Councillor Lowe on the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Next item.
And next is the public hearing, Your Worship. It's now 6:30. And this item is 9.1 on your agenda, and it's a proposed municipal plan and zoning bylaw amendment with Planning Advisory Committee report and staff presentation with respect to solar energy development text amendments.
Okay, I'm sending this one over to Commissioner Poffenroff for the introduction, please.
Thank you, Your Worship and members of Council. This evening's public hearing is for a municipal plan amendment and zoning bylaw text amendment submitted by St. John Energy for an amendment that would permit the development of solar energy development in the rural zone. The application has been evaluated by staff and the Planning Advisory Committee, and included in your package is the recommendation to approve the proposed amendments. I'll now turn it over to Yeva Matson, the planner on the file, for the staff presentation. Thank you.
Eva, over to you.
Thank you. So before you today, as said, is the proposed amendment to the municipal plan and zoning bylaw to allow for solar energy development in the rural zone. So the proposal is to slightly amend the municipal plan by adding solar energy development as a permitted use in the rural zone, in the rural resource designated areas without the need to rezone to green energy zone. This is accompanied by a zoning bylaw amendment to the rural zone, including conditions of use such as setbacks and buffering, and paired with a text amendment to the definition, just for clarification on the intent, which is to generate electricity for sale to a utility or for off-site distribution. This is to allow for the development of new low-impact solar energy outside the green energy zone, which was created with a much larger kind of wind farms in mind, specifically the Birch Hill project. That is also meaning there's a small amendment to the green energy zone, which is actually just a slight correction to reduce the required setback for solar collectors in the green energy zone from 100 meters to 30, which is more appropriate. The proposed amendment is in line with the municipal plan, which provides high-level guidance on land use and sustainability. The municipal plan focuses on environmental sustainability in St. John and on mitigating the impacts of climate change. Specifically, Policy NE1 calls for the consideration of environmental sustainability in all decisions. The rural resource designation also intended to see solar energy development within this designation, and this amendment, just allows for those developments outside of that green energy zone as the only zone at this time. This expands opportunities for solar development within the city's rural areas. Solar energy is very low impact, and it aligns really well with the rural resource designation as it introduces a form of resource-based activity that is appropriate for large unserviced sites. For context, the rural resource designation and rural zone kind of look like the above image, large unserviced properties outside of the PDA. This one is along the Old Black River Road site, and they are intended for unserviced resource uses, agricultural, fishery, forestry, etc. Solar impact or solar farms would be very low impact in these areas. For public engagement, since this is a text amendment, the only public engagement required was that website ad that was posted on September 12th for this meeting. We have had no letters or inquiries from the public, and this application did go to PAC on September 26th. St. John Energy, as the applicant, has been before council talking about large-scale solar development and did announce this to the public with the intent to do projects in rural areas. So in summary, PAC and staff are in alignment and are recommending that council adopt the attached bylaw, which would, in summary, amend the municipal plan to allow for solar energy development in rural resource designated areas, which would allow for more flexibility for alternative low impact energy, a text amendment to the definition, which would provide that clarity on the scale of development, an amendment to the rural zone to allow for this as a permissible use with conditions, and a slight amendment to correct a setback in the green energy zone. Thank you.
Okay, any questions? Oh, no, what am I talking about here? No questions for you yet. I have to ask if there's anyone here who would like to speak against the proposal. I'll ask again if there's anyone here who'd like to speak against the proposal. And I'll ask for a third time if there's anyone here who would like to speak against the proposal. Not hearing anyone, so I'll ask if there's anyone here who would like to speak in favor of the proposal. Come on down. I'll get you to give us your name.
Good evening. Yes, my name is Andrew Hearn. I
Should
am.
pull up there, Andrew. That's better.
Okay. My name is Andrew Hearn. I'm the Director of Engineering System Strategy at St. John Energy, and I'm aligned with the recommendation as provided by staff.
Okay.
I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Yeah, okay. Anyone have any questions for Andrew while he's here? Councillor Sullivan does. Over to you, Councillor.
Thanks, Your Worship. Thanks, Andrew. I know this is a much broader recommendation, but it came out of the conversation of a project that's been announced by St. John Energy. Can you give us 30 seconds on that project that this is going to lead the way for?
Yeah, so this particular amendment isn't specifically for the Old Black River Road project, but it would have came about as part of our RFP that we released in 2024. That this is something that could act as a potential barrier for projects specifically in the rural zone. But the project itself is a 10 megawatt project in partnership with UKC and Tobique First Nation. They'll be developing the project and we'll be the off-taker, basically purchasing the power from them. But overall, this aligns with other jurisdictions to get to a place where it's just easier for developers to develop solar specifically in these rural zones.
So as I understand it, the Old Black River Road project, what's the line going to be the largest community solar project?
It'll be the largest solar farm in New Brunswick. I believe there's a larger one in PEI right now.
So so it'll be the largest in New Brunswick, and the amendment that's before us tonight will allow other farms to more quickly, with less red tape, be able to establish themselves in St. John as well.
That's correct. And for the Old Black River Road project, they won't have to go through the PAC if this is
part of it.
This is part of it, but it's not just for the specific project. It's
Yes, no, understood. It will allow that to go through, but not just that one. More. And then, and it doesn't forego any environmental impact studies that have to be had or anything like that. Sure.
It just forgoes having to.
More solar, good. Thank you.
Okay.
Councillor Ogden, over to you for a question.
Just a comment. It's just great to see St. John Energy be leaders in solar energy in St. John. I just thank you very much.
Thank you.
Always great to have St. John Energy here. They're always innovative and exciting.
Oh, thank you.
Good. So thank you for being here tonight.
My pleasure.
All right, so there's no more questions. Well, I have to ask again if there's anyone here who would like to speak in favor of the project. And I'll ask for the third time if there's anyone else here who would like to speak in favor of the project. And so hearing no one else, I will close the public hearing and ask the team, do you have any questions for staff? And if not, City Clerk, over to you for the motions.
Thank you, Your Worship. In this case, there are two separate readings required. So the first would require approval of first and second reading for the municipal plan amendment.
All right, so for the municipal plan amendment, I'll need a motion to approve first reading by title. Councillor Lowe and Councillor Stewart on the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
A law to amend the municipal plan bylaw.
And I'll take a motion to approve second reading by title. Councillor Sullivan and Councillor Stewart on the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
A law to amend the municipal plan bylaw. And we also need approval of the zoning bylaw first and second reading by
Okay.
title.
I'll take a motion to approve first reading by title for the zoning bylaw. Counselor Darling and the deputy on the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
A law to amend the zoning bylaw of the City of St. John.
And I'll take a motion to approve second reading by title. Counselor Lowe and Counselor Ogden on the question. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
And it's a law to amend the zoning bylaw of the City of St. John.
Okay, City Clerk, am I correct that that's it?
That is the final item, Your
Over to
Worship.
you, Counselor Lowe. Thank you, Counselor. Take a seconder on that. Counselor Darling, putting your name on it. Thanks, everyone, for being here tonight.